Yes, connecting a gas fireplace directly to a junction box using an undersized flexible cord is a violation of the National Electrical Code. Specifically, Section 210.52c2 addresses this issue. This section focuses on conductor sizing for flexible cords and cables. The core principle outlined in 210.52c2 states the flexible cord for a cord and plug-connected appliance must not be smaller than the conductors of the branch circuit that supplies the appliance. In this scenario, a 15-amp breaker is feeding the junction box using number 14 American wire gauge wire. The original intention was to supply power to the gas fireplace via a receptacle and a cord and plug connection. However, the modification involved cutting the plug off the number 18 American wire gauge stranded cord of the fireplace and directly wiring it into the junction box. This direct wiring method bypasses the receptacle. The violation occurs because the number 18 American wire gauge flexible cord is smaller than the number 14 American wire gauge conductors of the branch circuit. The purpose of requiring the flexible cord to be at least the same size as the branch circuit conductors is to ensure that the cord can safely carry the full load current without overheating. Using an undersized cord creates a potential fire hazard. The National Electrical Code establishes minimum safety standards for electrical installations. These standards are in place to protect people and property from electrical hazards. When electrical work is performed, it is important to comply with all applicable code requirements. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Firstly, the branch circuit is protected by a 15-amp breaker, meaning the circuit is designed to safely carry up to 15 amps of current. The number 14 American wire gauge wire is appropriately sized for a 15-amp circuit according to the ampacity tables in the National Electrical Code, specifically Table 310.16, assuming its type THHN or similar insulation. Secondly, the number 18 American wire gauge flexible cord is significantly smaller than the number 14 American wire gauge wire. Number 18 American wire gauge wire typically has an ampacity rating of around 10 amps, depending on its insulation type and application, as specified in NEC Table 400.5a. This is insufficient for a 15-amp circuit. Thirdly, by directly wiring the number 18 American wire gauge cord into the junction box, the installer has effectively created a bottleneck in the circuit. If the fireplace attempts to draw more than 10 amps, the number 18 American wire gauge cord will overheat, potentially melting the insulation and causing a short circuit or fire. Fourthly, the code violation is not solely about the ampacity of the cord itself. It's also about the overall design and safety of the electrical system. The National Electrical Code requires that all components in a circuit be properly sized and rated for the intended application. Fifthly, the original design of using a cord and plug connection provides a level of safety and convenience. If there is a problem with the fireplace, it can be easily disconnected from the power source. The direct wiring method eliminates this safety feature. Sixthly, it's important to understand the difference between branch circuits and flexible cords. A branch circuit is the circuit conductors between the final overcurrent device protecting the circuit and the outlet or device. Flexible cords are used to connect appliances to the branch circuit outlet. Flexible cords are typically smaller than branch circuit conductors because they are only intended to carry current for a short distance. Seventhly, in this case, the flexible cord is being used as part of the permanent wiring of the fireplace, which is not its intended purpose. The National Electrical Code requires that permanent wiring be installed using appropriately sized conductors in a raceway or cable assembly. Eighthly, the term appliance is important here. The National Electrical Code defines an appliance as utilization equipment generally other than industrial, normally built in standardized sizes or types and installed or connected as a unit to perform one or more functions such as clothes washing, air conditioning, food mixing, deep frying, or space heating. A gas fireplace falls under this definition of an appliance. Ninthly, Section 400.7 of the National Electrical Code provides specific requirements for the use of flexible cords and cables. It states that flexible cords and cables must be used only for specific applications such as pendants, wiring of luminaires, connection of portable appliances, elevator cables, wiring of cranes and hoists, connection of stationary equipment to facilitate their frequent interchange, prevention of the transmission of noise or vibration, appliances where the fastening means of attachment results in strain on the cord connection, data processing cables as permitted by 645.5, connection of moving parts, temporary wiring is permitted in 590, and field-installed wiring of fire pumps. The direct wiring of the fireplace does not fall under any of these permitted uses. Tenthly, Section 400.8 of the National Electrical Code lists the prohibited uses of flexible cords and cables. It states that flexible cords and cables must not be used as a substitute for the fixed wiring of a structure, were run through holes in walls, structural ceilings, suspended ceilings, drop ceilings, or floors, were run through doorways, windows, or similar openings, were attached to building surfaces, were concealed behind building walls, structural ceilings, suspended ceilings, or floors, or were installed in raceways, except as otherwise permitted in the National Electrical Code. The direct wiring of the fireplace also violates these prohibitions. 11thly, another relevant section is 110.3b, which requires that listed or labeled equipment be installed and used in accordance with any instructions included in the listing or labeling. The gas fireplace is likely listed by a testing laboratory such as Underwriters Laboratories or ETL in Turtic. The listing instructions would likely specify the type and size of cord to be used with the fireplace. By cutting off the plug and directly wiring the fireplace, the installer is violating these listing instructions. 12thly, the consequences of violating the National Electrical Code can be serious. An electrical inspection may reveal the violation, resulting in a requirement to correct the wiring. In the event of a fire caused by the improper wiring, the insurance company may deny coverage. Most importantly, the improper wiring could result in injury or death. 13thly, to correct the violation, the installer should remove the direct wiring connection and install a receptacle. The receptacle should be rated for the voltage and current required by the fireplace. The flexible cord of the fireplace should be connected to the receptacle using a cord and plug. 14thly, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrician when performing electrical work. A qualified electrician has the knowledge and experience to ensure that the work is done safely and in accordance with the National Electrical Code. 15thly, in addition to the specific code sections mentioned above, there are other general requirements in the National Electrical Code that apply to electrical installations. These requirements include proper grounding, overcurrent protection, and wiring methods. 16thly, grounding is essential for electrical safety. It provides a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip the circuit breaker and prevent electrical shock. 17thly, overcurrent protection is provided by circuit breakers and fuses. These devices are designed to interrupt the flow of current if it exceeds a safe level. 18thly, wiring methods refer to the way in which conductors are installed. The National Electrical Code specifies the types of wiring methods that are permitted for different applications. These wiring methods include rigid metal conduit, electrical metallic tubing, non-metallic conduit, and cable assemblies. 19thly, the National Electrical Code is updated every 3 years. It is important to use the latest edition of the National Electrical Code when performing electrical work. 20thly, the National Electrical Code is a complex document. It is not always easy to understand the code requirements. If you have any questions about the National Electrical Code, you should consult with a qualified electrician. 21stly, electrical work should only be performed by qualified individuals. Electrical work can be dangerous. It is important to take precautions to avoid electrical shock and other hazards. 22ndly, before working on any electrical circuit, always turn off the power at the circuit breaker. Use a voltage tester to verify that the power is off before touching any wires. 23rdly, wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and rubber gloves. 24thly, work in a well-lit area. Keep your work area clean and free of clutter. 25thly, do not work on electrical circuits when you are tired or under the influence of drugs or alcohol. 26thly, if you are not comfortable performing electrical work, hire a qualified electrician. 27thly, the National Electrical Code is a living document that is constantly evolving to reflect changes in technology and safety practices. It is important to stay up to date on the latest code requirements to ensure that electrical installations are safe and compliant. 28thly, the authority having jurisdiction, or OJ, is responsible for enforcing the National Electrical Code. The AHA may be a local building inspector, a state electrical inspector, or another qualified individual. 29thly, the AHA has the authority to interpret the National Electrical Code and to make decisions about whether an electrical installation complies with the code. 30thly, if you have any questions about the National Electrical Code or about the requirements of the AHA, you should contact the AHA directly. 31stly, proper electrical wiring is essential for the safety of homes and businesses. By following the National Electrical Code and working with qualified electricians, it is possible to create electrical installations that are safe, reliable, and compliant. 32ndly, the scenario highlights a common mistake made by individuals who are not familiar with electrical codes and safety practices. It emphasizes the importance of seeking professional assistance when dealing with electrical installations to prevent potential hazards and ensure compliance with regulations. 33rdly, the use of appropriately sized conductors and proper wiring methods is crucial in preventing overheating, short circuits, and electrical fires. Undersized conductors can lead to excessive heat generation, which can damage insulation and create a fire risk. 34thly, the direct wiring of the fireplace, bypassing the intended cord and plug connection, also removes a layer of protection provided by the plug itself. Plugs are designed to provide a secure and reliable connection while also allowing for easy disconnection in case of emergencies or maintenance. 35thly, electrical safety should always be a top priority when working with electricity. Taking the necessary precautions, following code requirements, and seeking professional help when needed can significantly reduce the risk of electrical accidents and ensure the safety of people and property. 36thly, the National Electrical Code is a comprehensive set of rules and guidelines that cover all aspects of electrical installations. It is essential for electricians, contractors, and anyone involved in electrical work to be familiar with the code and to follow its requirements diligently. 37thly, regular inspections and maintenance of electrical systems can help identify potential problems and ensure that they are addressed promptly. This can prevent minor issues from escalating into major hazards. 38thly, electrical safety education is crucial for raising awareness about the risks associated with electricity and for promoting safe practices. By educating individuals about electrical hazards and how to prevent them, we can create a safer environment for everyone. 39thly, in conclusion, the direct wiring of the gas fireplace using an undersized flexible cord is a clear violation of the National Electrical Code and poses a significant safety risk. It is essential to correct this wiring and to ensure that all electrical work is performed by qualified individuals in accordance with applicable codes and standards. And finally, always remember to prioritize safety when working with electricity.